Crazy Box Turbo? No, 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 no. Crazy Box Skill Drain. This is the best version of Crazy Box. Chat is easy when you remove the face-to-face interaction. For me, it's the opposite. Like, here's a little story about me. So, when I was a wee little lad, like preteen, I used to be of the mind that small talk was worthless. There is no reason to have small talk because if you were going to talk with someone, you might as well just discuss big ideas. And if you're not going to discuss big ideas, then there's no point in having any kind of conversation. Kaiser Coliseum? Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't draw a good enough hand to go second against this. So eventually I figured out the flaw in that logic. Like, it's not that I didn't like small talk, it's just I was bad at it. And so I decided to work at it. And I had a job at a water park, and I had employees where we worked together a lot. And there was a huge turnover rate because it was basically seasonal employment. You'd work for the summer, then you'd leave. I was one of the few like full round employees, and I worked there for 5 years. So I had lots of brand new people there, and I basically used that as an opportunity to learn how to make small talk. I would think up new ideas every day. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this idea today, and I'm gonna use that as an opener. I was like, oh, I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna do this. And I basically just spent 5 years practicing small talk with new people, opening up new conversations, seeing if I could get them to be friendly, not be friends, but like on friendly terms. And I had 100% success rate. I remember one time there was this new employee who straight up said to me that she hated me and never wanted to talk to me. And even after a couple of months, we were on friendly terms. And I bet she doesn't even remember that. Yeah, so all I needed was practice. I had deliberate, like, years of practice in order to get good at it. Cold and impressive. Yeah, I turned it into, I didn't want to say it's a science because psychology is more of a soft science. Not everything works on everyone. It's mainly just trying out a whole bunch of different things on a whole bunch of different people and seeing what worked best. And because I spent all that time and effort, all of my skills are 100% developed for face-to-face conversations. And I do everything online. I don't even show my face. All of my experience is worthless. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm gonna get my own card negated. Top 10 small talk hacks. Number 1, if you want to get good at small talk, all you have to do is this one little trick. Practice for 5 years on many different kinds of people. That's all it takes. It's so easy. All you need is 5 years of dedicated practice and trial and error with many different kinds of people who are forced to talk to you for hours on a day. And you too can get good at small talk. Turns out to get good at something, you have to practice it. You have to have deliberate practice at that. Like, for example, say somebody plays League of Legends every day, but they never play it in a way where they're trying to get better, they're just playing it for fun. You can play League of Legends for 10,000 hours and then never get to a pro level. In order to get to a pro level, you have to deliberately practice. And deliberate practice is different from just pushing buttons. So like the 10,000 hour rule is deliberate practice only. If you're just doing it for fun, you won't actually improve because you're not trying to. That's bold advice from a talking moon spider. This is how you know it's good advice. Ooh, I can summon this card. Isn't this during both players' turns? Oh, I didn't activate it until after his standby phase. Oh, I love that effect of the card. Spider knowledge. I remember I was reading this book called, like, the book's premise is that talent isn't real. And I was like, that's bull, because I have talent in sports and I was just naturally better than everyone. I was like, there's no way talent's not a real thing. I read the book anyway because I love self-help books and books like that, books about psychology. And by the end of the book, I was like, you know, talent absolutely does exist, but it doesn't matter anywhere near as much as I thought. What matters way more than talent is just deliberate practice. And like two of the best examples in there were Mozart and Tiger Woods, both of which were people who trained since they were young by very good teachers, and neither of them really considered themselves to be talented at the time. Because like when they were a teenager, they already had 10 years of deliberate practice under their belt. So of course they were going to be, you know, prodigies from an early age because they had like some of the best coaches in the world. Tiger Woods' dad was an ex-pro. Mozart's dad was like a world famous composer. Talent just gives you a head start. That's all it does. Well, also, you know, there's other things where You're not going to play in the NBA if you're under 6 feet tall. There are some talents that you need, but for the most part, the thing we think of as talent, where you're just better than everyone else, like assuming body shapes are all the same sizes, what really separates is just practice and luck. Talent without hard work makes you average? Exactly. Won't Beethoven be better for... I don't know anything about Beethoven. But Mozart, like people like, you know, musicians, like Mozart, he has like his own cult basically. People are like fanatic about Mozart. So to insinuate that Mozart wasn't talented is like heresy in the music, the old school music time. And a lot of the things, like in the book, because he used like tons of data. It was like a scientific book. It wasn't just someone giving their opinions on it. It's like, here's all this data that proves what I'm saying. I was like, wow, that's good data. And one of the ones that really got to me was the world records. Like the world record for like the mile in high school 100 years ago was beaten many times over. And if talent was the only thing that decided everything, then that would mean that, you know, evolution got to a point where people are just getting faster and faster, and evolution doesn't work that fast. It takes like millions of years for those kinds of developments to happen. And actually what it means is just sports science has just gotten more advanced, where they're able to figure out how to run faster. So the world record for a high school mile nowadays is faster than the world record for like the Olympic mile 100 years ago. Why did they surrender? What the hell? That was a fine hand. This was a perfectly fine deck. Why did he quit? Wise Man says, we evolved just to be more alone. Well, if you evolved to be more alone, then I'm the evolution master. So I'd rather be average, less bad at everything, but infinite motivation, push myself in any direction. Yeah, you see, like, I remember when I started YouTube, because I have like negative charisma points, and I was bad at art. Like, I spent years trying to get good at drawing. And I took, like, all the drawing classes that were available in school. You know, like Art 101, drawing, painting, advanced art. I also bought a whole bunch of, like, art books I read online on how to get good. I practiced for years, and I was just so bad at it. Like, I have, like, literal years of just training in art. And the only thing I can draw are those dumb little ghosts. So I really wanted to get good at it, but I was just really bad at it. Later on, I learned that maybe if I had just kept doing it anyway, it probably would have gotten better. Because I put years into it, but, you know, it takes 10 years to master a craft. Anyways, I was talented in sports. Like, I was really good at it, and I got better than everyone else with less effort. But that was at the amateur level. You know, like high school sports, where it doesn't really matter. So I was like, man, I have talent in sports. Why can't I have this talent in arts where I really want it? So when it came to YouTube stuff, I was like, well, I'm bad at this creative thing, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want to and it's fun. And the only thing that really puts me over a lot of my other constituents, my colleagues, my other fellow YouTubers, not YouTubers, because I do more than just Yugioh, is the fact that I work very hard, constantly, all the time. I don't know a single other YouTuber who works as hard as I do, or as long as I do. And it wasn't until I read that book that I realized, is like, oh, no wonder I'm actually succeeding in this field. It's just because I put a whole bunch of time and effort into it. And I constantly read new materials and watch tutorials on how to do it. That's better than being talented at it. I'm not naturally funny or charismatic or even artistic. Yet I succeeded in an artistic field nonetheless, just because I put a ton of time and effort into it. And I was like, oh, you know, that explains it. I always thought it was just cool that I succeeded in something that I suck at. Turns out that's how you get good at something. Most people can't even draw a circle, let alone a ghost. Well, I mean, like, if you spend 5 years trying to get better at drawing and all you can draw is a ghost, that's kind of bad. 2 crazy boxes. I know I can go into 2 crazy boxes. Practice makes perfect. Yeah, but I always thought you needed to have a little bit of talent as well, but that's not really the case based on observational data and math. Science, speculative science, the best kind of science. I don't know if this is real, but I just naturally know how to draw at a young age. I took it seriously, but I understand how to do it. I've noticed I was really good at the arts. Yeah, like being good at arts is really good at the amateur level. Wow, you just tributed it. Oh, I need to control no monsters. God damn it, couldn't you have waited if it has a plant monster? Could you have waited until I summoned Langus from my hand? Yeah, because like, you know, you had like talent in art, which means you're better at an amateur level. But if you had no practice and you tried to get into like an art school, they'd probably deny you because you just don't have the required experience. Or you'd be just as good as everyone else. Like for me, when it comes to sports, I'm good at any sport I play, no matter what it is. But that's only at the amateur level. If I played against actual people who are like on a sports ball team for the required sport, they would easily beat me because I don't have the experience required. You know, unless it's football, because I actually have the experience there. So like if I was playing basketball with a whole bunch of other amateurs, I'd probably win. If we were playing soccer, I'd probably win. But if any of them just had a moderate amount of experience, they'd probably beat me. Experience is valuable. Experience is everything. I'm okay at art. My stuff looks like a child's imagination, stuff you see in pictures book. I wish I could draw. I could draw if I just put more effort into it, but I don't want to. I ain't got time to do anything. I don't even got time to play video games, let alone learn how to draw. On an unrelated note, I learned how to juggle last year. That was fun. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. God damn it. Seriously. My glorious numbers. I was finally going to be able to do the combo. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Tim knocked. Yeah, I'm sure that's true to an extent. It all depends. Like, are you guys both at the amateur level? Then the untalented person who doesn't work hard will still probably win. Because even though you work hard, you probably only worked hard for a couple of years, which isn't enough. Like, I can tell you for a fact. Oh, actually, I have some examples. Like when I was in football, I was a lineman, which is, for those of you who don't really know much about American football, the linemen are just like really big, strong people who are there just to block. You don't really have to be very technically good. And there was this one guy on our team who was really big. He was like 6'3". He worked out a lot. And he was constantly trying to get on the starting O-line. But, you know, despite the fact that he worked really hard, he lifted more weights than everyone. After he did the required amount, he would go and lift even more. He never made the starting O-line. And I would skirt on all of my duties. Like, I remember the coach would call me out sometimes for being super lazy. But whenever we had a hitting drill, I would win 100% of the time. Or like any kind of lineman drill, one-on-one. He was just so not coordinated that he would need like very specific practice to get even close to what I could do just naturally. He could do it. You just needed a lot more practice. And it's only because we were both at the amateur level. A fellow linebacker? No, I was a lineman. I was a defensive lineman. I was also a 5'6" defensive lineman. Like at the amateur level, I was so good that they put me as a starter over people who were 6'5". You know, like a full foot taller. And they hated it. The coaches hated putting me in. They even told me once, they're like, we just want to put in someone who's tall who can fill a hole. I don't know how you do it. Can you teach what you do to everyone else? I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing either. Someone say sports ball? Oh, I should have just quit when he banished my crazy box from the grave. Any fellow linebackers? Impressive at the amateur level, sure. Dude, we had so many talented people on the team that I didn't even stand out. Our team was really good. We won a lot.